This is the Kindie Rockstars Podcast, Season 6. Bringing you incredibly talented singers, artists, creators, and producers in the genre of children's music. I'm your host, Patrick Adams. Each episode will feature songs, album features, or video features, and great stories from the artists themselves. Kindie Rockstars Season 6 is proud to be supported and sponsored by Waldmania Public Relations, serving the family entertainment community for over 20 years, and Debbie Derryberry Kids. Debbie Derryberry, one of Hollywood's most active and sought-after voiceover artists, is best known for voicing Jimmy Neutron in the Academy Award-nominated film Jimmy Neutron, Boy Genius, and Draculaura in Monster High. A lifetime musician and songwriter, Debbie has written and recorded 4 award-winning preschool music albums. Her song Baby Banana hit #1 on Sirius XM Kid. Her song, written with Grammy-winning artist Lisa Loeb, called The Compost Bin, has won a Napa Award. Her latest album, Gotta Go Green, also a Napa winner, is all about giving kids tangible ways to save the earth through recycling, composting, reducing carbon footprint, and more. Her YouTube channel, Debbie Derryberry Kids, combines her love of cartoons and music with delightful animated videos of her songs. Children listen as well as watch, so a visual component is so important. Kindie Rockstars thanks you so much for your support, and now, on with the show. Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of Kindie Rockstars, and I have with me tonight Johnny and Beth, collectively known as Electric Blue Yonder. Welcome to the show.
Hello.
Yeah, thank you for having us.
All right, well, thank you for coming on, and I am excited to learn about you guys. We have a music video feature that we're going to do tonight for a cute song called Roly Poly. The video is adorable. I watched it a few times. I showed it to my daughter. It's really, really cute. And I can't wait to learn all about it and how you guys pulled that together. But before we get into all of that, let's learn a little bit more about you guys. How did you get into making music for kids?
It's a funny story, and it started with a lullaby, a song we wrote called Little Jack for our nephew, or really for his parents. We thought it'd be a nice thing for them to have a custom song to sing their little one. He was their first born, and they're new parents, and we wrote that song, and we didn't think much of it, and then we were touring out west, and we played this place where there's very nice people just kept asking us to continue to play song after song after song, and basically we exhausted our entire catalog and finally played Little Jack.
Yeah.
And said, okay, this is the last one. We're going to sing a lullaby, and this will be the end of the night. And afterwards, our touring companion, Kimmy Sampson, was very emphatic about, wow, what was that song? And we were like, I'm so sorry I didn't tell you about that one, because we never expected to play it. But she was like, no, this is just
Really adorable. And we spent that night on the Olympic Peninsula camping and talking about how we could make an album. And she was based out of Muscle Shoals, which is a very historic music community. And so we ended up writing and recording the MicroPARTY record there.
Yeah.
So this is your debut children's album?
It is.
Yeah.
Awesome. And
And
how did you come up with the name Electric Blue Yonder?
Oh, well, here we're originally from Montgomery, Alabama, which is the birthplace of civil aviation, among other things. The Wright brothers actually founded their first school here back in, I believe, 1910. And we had one of the first Army Air Corps bases, and we thought it would be kind of a neat tie-in. At the time, I had gotten really into parlor style guitar playing and was like listening to bands like the Andrews Sisters and the Ink Spots and that old timey music. And so we started trying to put together a project centered around that called Blue Yonder, like the wild blue yonder from the Air Force song. And over time that evolved, and we started adding influences like Electric Light Orchestra and Pink Floyd and the Beach Boys, and Blue Yonder didn't really feel like it totally encompassed um, what we did. So we added the electric, and here we are.
Yeah, I can hear a very distinctive style in your music. It's quite cool and it's quite different than a lot of what we hear in children's music, and I dig it. I like I said, it kind of makes me think of the '70s, but it makes me think of some current bands who have that sound as well. Um, you can tell they were kind of influenced by it. So
Yeah,
Thank
cool.
you.
Yeah, I think we take like a Shel Silverstein approach to this. He's definitely a big influence in our children's content. Just that it's really not just for children; it's for
yes,
everyone. And we don't want to limit any of what we do, but it happens to be a good message for children and dressed in a way where it's you can feel safe or confident as a parent to allow them to listen to it without worry.
yeah, it's kind of all in what you define as a child, and a child is, of course, the preschool age child, where a lot of music is targeting that, but you know, get up into their 10, 12, they're still kids to me. And, I think my music in particular, I tend to target the slightly older kid. A lot of
Yep.
guitars and, lyrically kind of writing for a slightly older group. So,
Yeah, we like the idea of being able to grow into a song. Just like there's probably some songs that you heard as a child that were not necessarily children's music that you loved, from
Mm-hmm.
the the rhythm or melody, and then as you grew up, you learned, a deeper meaning that came with the lyrics that maybe you didn't understand as a child. And I think for me, as a child of the '80s and growing up and getting a very hands-on, pre-screen, like like the last pre-screen generation, um, where Sesame Street and Mr. Rogers were like the main way for us to consume children's oriented content. I really love the way that they always seem to sort of like slip one in for the parents in the room,
yeah.
and leave, like give something at a basic level that anyone can understand, but then also sneak a few cues in there at a more advanced level that, are Easter eggs until the day that you're able to comprehend at that level, and then they become, sort of like inside jokes for you and things like that.
Yeah, funny story. I distinctly remember what my very first favorite song was. It's the No No song by Ringo Starr.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And is I just loved the melody. I loved kind of the way he sounded on that song. It wasn't until a little bit older I'm sitting there listening to the lyrics again after not listening to it for a long time. I'm like, oh, this probably wasn't a song I should have liked that much.
Interestingly, for me, it was "I've Got My Mind Set on You" by George Harrison.
Okay, yeah.
But I,
Hey Jude over here. So
yeah,
Ah, that's an awesome song. It's all about the Beatles here. That's interesting.
yeah. Well, they definitely wrote captivating melodies.
Yeah, very true. All right, so let's talk about the album as a whole. MicroPARTY. So, conceptually, was there a theme behind it? What kind of stories do you have of pulling the whole album together?
Well, from that campsite night, the next morning, our friend Kimmy called some of her friends back in that Muscle Shoals area, and some of them were kind of a big deal, if you will, and they said, "Oh, this could be interesting." So we said, "All right, we'll give this some serious consideration." Uh, as we headed back, we actually stopped and visited
little Jack,
little Jack,
yeah.
who wasn't quite so little anymore by then. Maybe was like four
Four, probably.
years old. He didn't like being called little. He was old enough to not want that anymore. But I looked at his little library and saw A Very Hungry Caterpillar by Eric Carle and picked up the book. Probably hadn't, really looked at it in 15, 20 years. Um, and, all the memories of my childhood flashed back to me. And then I also had the opportunity to do some research and learn about, you know, Eric Carle's life and how he escaped some, troubling times in the world, and that he made a very conscious decision to depict all his content, his his children's books in like a vibrant world of color to show like the beauty in the world, to the future generations that could exist. And I think that we made a similar decision that, there's a lot of things that we could talk about, in any given moment. The world might be ending. And certainly we've addressed that some in some of our regular adult, oriented music. But that like we want to look to a world, a brighter future where we entrust the youth of today to build something better than we've currently been able to do as a society. And
that tour was in September of 2019. So, little did we know that right around the corner we'd be at home for quite a while. And so at home we thought, okay, well, now it's time. We wrote a lot of music, not just for this project, but just because we needed to.
Yeah, 2 or 3 albums. And that's when we really realized that it could be something deeper than just music that would be entertaining for children, and those ideas and themes of like the interconnectedness and creating an onion sort of with different layers of learning. All that sort of arose when we had more time to reflect. We feel like maybe there's some songs out there that underestimate kids, and make it oversimplified, and that's probably okay. There's nothing wrong with that, but that we wanted to, again, make something that kids could grow into and grow up with.
Yeah.
And I don't think that they're, like those oversimplified songs are going to stick with those kids, beyond their early childhood. So we're,
right.
We want to be.
That was a goal for
Yeah.
us. And then we also just said the young and young at heart, because we felt like adults, even older adults, could,
be reminded
and engage there, especially, again, we were sitting at home, engage the imagination and find the wonderment, the childlike wonderment that we all had growing up, appreciating the simple things like the water cycle or rainbows and caterpillars. And that's what we were striving to do.
Very cool. All right. Well, we are going to feature here a really, really cute music video. It is for the song Roly Poly. So tell us a little bit about the creation of this video.
So, we must give a lion's share of the credit to our dear friend and collaborator, Dustin Timbrook. Dustin directed and animated the video of the Roly Poly song, all by himself. Actually, I believe in Procreate on his iPad. Dustin and I were in an art magnet school together in high school and kept in touch. And I do some work. My college education is architecture, and then I ended up sort of falling into set design for television and film for a while as one of my careers. And I helped Dustin also sort of connect in that spectrum. And he's just an amazingly talented person. He can do anything. He can build puppets. He can obviously do incredible animations. He's a mural artist. He helped develop a really cool artist collab space in Huntsville, Alabama, called Low Mill. And he's just been a friend that's also been an inspiration for us. For me, since my high school days, and for Beth since she got to know him. And so we really just turned it over to Dustin, and he made that come to life. Now, the story has gotten deeper. Like Beatrice that's the Roly Poly in the story. We sort of had, I guess, were afforded the opportunity to take his telling of Beth's lyrics in that song and then develop, a deeper story that we hope to also bring to audiences in the future. But that's just sort of the magic of creating something, but then also being willing to let it go and allow other creative individuals to put their touch on it and make it into something better than you could even imagine.
Yeah,
That's
that is
really what turned out.
the magic of collaboration. Absolutely.
Really, yeah.
All right. Well, we're going to play this music video now for everybody. Here it is, Roly Poly by Electric Blue Yonder.
it's all for a snack. So I suggest we leave before the toad attacks.
I'm a roly-poly. I'm a roly-poly.
She's a roly-poly.
I'm a roly-poly trying to get across town.
She's a roly-poly trying to get around.
I'm a roly-poly trying to get across town.
She's a roly-poly trying to get around. Rabbit, rabbit. Rabbit, rabbit. That was a narrow escape. Uh-oh.
I'm a roly-poly trying to get across town.
She's a roly-poly trying to get around.
I'm a roly-poly, won't you roll with me now?
Okay.
Let's roll!
All right. Well, the album is called MicroPARTY, and by the time people are watching this episode or listening to this episode, the album will be available. Where can people stream, purchase, and download the album, and how can they find and connect with you?
Well, it's distributed on all of the major platforms. And of course, you can go to our website, electricblueyonder.com, to find out more in-depth information about MicroPARTY, about the live show that we've been working on, and upcoming STEAM camps that we're also developing right now.
And you can reach us through the website. Our email is info@electricblueyonder.com. And then we're on Instagram and Facebook and YouTube. Actually, we'll be putting out more content on YouTube. We've got a few videos up from this project. We'll be continuing to put stuff out there too. So.
All right. Well, what is the next big thing coming up for Electric Blue Yonder?
Well, it's summertime, so that's sort of tour season. We have several music festivals, Red Bluff Art and Music Festival in Montgomery coming up. But I would say one of the most exciting things is that we're doing a Playthink Festival. That's June 13th through 16th, I believe. It's in
Edmonton, Kentucky.
Edmonton, Kentucky. It's a family-friendly, sort of sober festival that focuses on growth. They have lots of cool workshops, and they do sort of flow element type, like dancing to music, and often the artists that perform there do really immersive, experiential performance sets. So we might be bringing something really special to that one. It's a really cool thing too. So it's worth it on its own, but we might be premiering a very special creation at that festival.
I would say be on the lookout for more MicroPARTY live shows into this year, 2026.
Absolutely.
Very cool. Well, Johnny and Beth, it has been wonderful having you on the show. You are Electric Blue Yonder, and everybody go check them out. Thank you again for coming on the show.
Thank you for having us. This has been great.
Yeah, it's an honor, really.
You got it. Take care.
You too.